All right. What's up, everybody? Good evening. Happy Wednesday. Sorry, hold on. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Good evening. Happy hump day. Hope you are all having a wonderful week so far. I hope your weeks have been going great. As for myself, wow, oh boy. I feel like I am a mush mash or mash mush and mush mash mishy mush of things. My schedule has just been all over the place. Everything's a hot mess. I honestly, this is just to show you how bad it was. And I apologize for missing my stream on Mondays like I usually do. But I went through most of the day on Monday not realizing it was Monday. That's how bad it was. And I didn't realize it was Monday until I would say maybe afternoonish, late afternoonish. And I was like, oh shit, it's actually Monday today. I've totally messed everything up. I missed my stream. I missed doing this, doing that. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a hot mess right now, and I apologize to everybody. There's just a lot of things going on behind the scenes. I'm working on a lot of different things. I'm dealing with a lot of different things. And it's just, I'm trying to wrap my head around it all. And I do apologize for being such a huge mess. But I do thank you for all tuning in and watching me, whether it's live or on video on demand. So I thank you. How about you thank them, dickless? I just did. I just did. So thank you all. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about today. With not only do we have like a bunch of trailers that dropped, mainly because this week is upfronts week in the TV world. If you don't know what that means, a lot of networks and studios are pitching things to advertisers this week. So obviously they want to get advertisers on board to advertise their spots on their shows, especially during network television. It's a little different nowadays because network TV is not as huge of a focus as it used to be back in the day, especially when you have to deal with a lot of streaming now. So the advertisers have to consider, I guess, advertising on the streaming platform within certain spots of when these shows are on. And of course these are like the streaming services that offer like ad tiers and all that, so your Netflixes, your Maxes, I believe Disney has one, and Amazon is now rolling out a bunch of advertising too. So it does take on a whole different meaning than what it was back in the day, but still basically works the same. And you have a lot of pitches and a lot of previews of new content that's coming out this year, that this is their week to let it all out. And because of that, we have a lot of news dropping about shows that are returning, new seasons, release dates, teaser trailers, and trailers for upcoming shows. Like we have House of the Dragon Season 2 that just dropped their full trailer that I'm going to be checking out here. You have, Rings of Power, the Amazon show, the Lord of the Rings show. They just dropped their trailer, so I'll be reacting to that here. And on the movie side of things, we got the new Wicked trailer that dropped today. And Francis Ford Coppola released his trailer for his movie Megalopolis that is debuting at Cannes Film Festival this week. Yes, it is Cannes week also in the movie world. So today, Furiosa just had its premiere at Cannes Film Festival. And the big news coming out of Cannes right now is huge raves and reviews on this movie. And of course, this is the week we're going to be hearing a lot of outlets reporting about standing ovations and how long they last. Furiosa had a 7-minute standing ovation. However you want to take that. I feel like a lot of outlets and the audiences at cons is very weird. They love applauding to a lot of different things, but they also love walking out of things too. So I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot of news about a lot of that stuff happening between this week and next week. But yeah, get ready for the media outlets to start reporting on standing ovations and how long they last, because we already got it today with Furiosa getting a 7-minute standing ovation. Currently, I think it's sitting on 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's a good sign. I'm hearing a lot of word coming out saying that it is a great Mad Max movie, but not as great as Fury Road. But the most common thing that I'm hearing is that when the movie's over, it's leaving people wanting more. That's what I'm hearing a lot of. So that's a good thing, right? For George Miller there, the old director. I don't know how much longer he could carry on this franchise, but I'm sure he's going to carry it for as long as he can. So just a lot of different stuff and reactions coming out of cons. Plus, also today was the season finale of X-Men 97. I had a chance to watch it right before I went live today, and woof, can't wait to talk about that. So that's going to be fun and interesting to talk about. So yeah, like I said, a lot of cool things to talk about here during the evening. I'll be here as long as it takes to talk about and cover about all of these things. And as of right now, just want to make sure I click on that button right there. I am now also live on YouTube Shorts. So as I say every stream lately, if you love the traditional format, stay where you are. You're good as is. If you prefer watching it on your cell phone and seeing on a vertical style format to this live stream,
I consider myself to be a gearhead.
What am I hearing? Okay, shut up, stupid. All right, sorry. I just got hit with an ad, a random ad on one of the websites that I'm on right now. But yeah, if you prefer watching on your cell phone and you like the vertical stream, then obviously you could check it out on vertical formats there. So all that said and out of the way, just give me 1 second here, guys. I am just, like I said, just a combination of messes throughout the day, so my brain is scattered all over the place, and I do apologize. Let me just make sure I check on this one notification here. Give me a second. Also, what's going on over here? Everything's fine. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I apologize. Apologize. Too late to apologize. It's too late. It's never too late to apologize. All right. So right before we get into the meat of the stuff from today that I want to talk about, something interesting it just showed up on my feed for whatever reason. And it's about TJ Miller. So TJ Miller is a comedian, comic actor. At one point, he was extremely popular. And he did like a lot of Netflix specials, I believe, if I remember correctly. He's done a lot of acting gigs. I'm trying to remember what show he was on that really made him popular. I can't remember. Was it Silicon Valley or one of those shows? I believe it was. And obviously he had a fan base. If you remember, he appeared in the very first Deadpool movie as the bartender of I forgot where it was, this place, but he had interactions with Deadpool, and he was actually a pretty major character in the first movie at one point. And then he got canceled, basically. I forget right now the reasons as to why he got canceled. I think he said some racist remarks, or he had some point of view that was just really, really negative and bad. And so for whatever reason, I guess he appeared on some sort of podcast. And he said on this podcast, he's basically saying that Ryan Reynolds was nobody before Deadpool. And that after Deadpool and the success of Deadpool, his attitude has changed and everything. And I don't know who to believe. Obviously, I'm not in that circle. I don't know anything about Ryan Reynolds. I just know he is a pretty established, not only actor, but he's also pretty well established as far as a business person, with his ownership of Mint Mobile now being bought completely by T-Mobile. He had that vodka that really sold well and all that. What's going on, Kayak and Fishing? Nice seeing you here. Thank you for saying hello. Hope you're having a good evening and or day, depending on where you are. So, you know, and he seems to be a cool dude. He's pretty funny and all that. But for someone like TJ Miller to say that Ryan Reynolds was a nobody, I don't know. This just screams as someone who's a little bitter to me, especially since he's not. TJ hasn't really been in the spotlight in entertainment in Hollywood for some time now, ever since he got canceled, right? So there's a post here on Twitter with the video of what he's saying here. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to watch it now for the very first time. And let's see what this nonsense is with him and what is he talking about and all that. So let's listen in on this.
Super successful, people get really famous and then things get really weird.
Wait, hold on a second. I want to make sure everyone can hear this. So let me know. Hold on. Let me just want to make sure everyone can hear this.
When something becomes super successful, people get really famous and then things get really weird. And that's what happened from Deadpool 1 to Deadpool 2. Was you first had Ryan Reynolds, who everybody knew who he was, but he never had, like, he'd had a lot of movies that were failures or just didn't do that well. And so Deadpool was a real long shot for him. And then so Deadpool 2, he was a different person. That's just a different guy. A guy that's become that famous in a movie that is that funny just kind of changes people, you know? And I don't think it really changed me at all, because I didn't give a fuck while they're like, he doesn't appreciate what's going on. When something becomes super successful.
Wow. Okay, so that's where the clip ends pretty much. Look, I'm just gonna say and call it what I see and call what I see here. This just sounds like someone who's kind of bitter and who's a little jealous. I'll be honest with you. I mean, he really could be truthful in saying that he really doesn't care, he doesn't give a fuck and all that. But I honestly feel like he's very bitter right now. And that sounds like someone who's bitter, because I mean, it's a short clip. I don't know what else he said or how else he elaborated on what he's saying. But how did he change? How did Ryan Reynolds change? What's so different from then and now? And what's interesting about this post is that it's someone who posted saying that this person has been working with Ryan Reynolds for 20 years and has never seen anything negative from Ryan at all, before and after Deadpool. And that same person has interacted with TJ Miller maybe twice and said that those interactions and those experiences were not that great. And she said, at least I was somewhat consistent. So I thought that's actually kind of funny. So yeah, I don't know what to take here, but I love it when these people, you know, they take shots of others because of whatever jealousy or, you know, envy, whatever the case is. It just sounds very childish. And TJ Miller, again, is just looking for that sound bit to kind of get him viral in hopes to maybe like reestablish himself or something. It wasn't even a funny comment. It just sounds like he's just someone who's just very bitter and sad and all. So I don't know. That's just kind of weird. And again, I don't know nothing because I don't know any of those guys. But just from looking at it and hearing from it, it just sounds like a lot of bitterness going on there. Kayak and Fishing, what is your thoughts about the new Deadpool movie? I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a major hit this summer because there's so many people who are anticipating this movie. I also think it's going to be an important chapter in the MCU moving forward as far as how they handle their universe. It could be a situation for them to kind of reconfigure some things as far as the multiverse is concerned and all that. It's also probably going to be the stepping point into mutants and X-Men. And understanding too that the Hugh Jackman Wolverine we're getting here is not the Hugh Jackman Wolverine that we are used to in the Fox universe and in the Logan movie. This is an alternate version that we're getting. So it'll be interesting to see just how they play off of each other and the chemistry there. But we're definitely going to probably see a lot of cameos, a lot of Easter eggs. And I'm excited about that. You know, I think we need like a fun time at the theater with a superhero-based movie. And this could be that one that will give us that. Plus, it's still also going to give us the R-rated stuff that we come to appreciate and love when it comes to the previous two Deadpool movies. I'm a little bummed out that Cable is not in it from what it sounds like. It sounds like we're not going to get Cable. And Zazie Beetz as Domino is not going to be in it. So that's kind of weird how that's the case. So I feel like that. But then again, who knows? I mean, we could get a surprise appearance from either of those guys. But I think it's just going to be a fun time at the box office, at the movie theater. And hopefully it's going to be good. And I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. And every year, I always love predicting what's going to be the major hit every year. I predicted that Barbie was going to be the runaway hit last year. I predicted that Top Gun Maverick was going to be that one the year before. Honestly, this is going to be, this year, Deadpool 3 will be that one here. Letitia Owens, hello. Thank you for saying hi. Quandale is back. I remember you from last time. Do you eat Skibidi sliders? I don't know what those are. But if you do, I would love to know how they taste like. And if you could describe it for me, that would be great. So, there you go. So yeah, so TJ Miller sounds bitter. Miller is bitter. How about that? So really interesting stuff there. All right. So all that silliness and drama out of the way there. Let us go into one of the things I wanted to do this evening is catch up on all the trailers that we got recently. Again, I stated that, upfronts are this week. We have Cannes Film Festival happening and starting this week. So we have a lot of movie trailers that are coming out. We have a lot of trailers for shows that are releasing to kind of help promote the upcoming seasons. So there's a lot of interesting things to check out. Let's start off today with the first one being the brand new Wicked trailer that dropped this morning. Wicked is one of the highly anticipated movies of the year. Hold on one second. Let me just, because I have everything here and I want to make sure that I have everything all nicely situated and ready, which is never usually the case. Because, oh, here we go. All right. Hush now. All right. Thank you. Woo, what a day. All right. So yeah, so Wicked is one of those anticipated movies of the year. It's starring Ariana Grande and I forget who the other performer is. It is Olivia. Wait, hold on. I don't want to mispronounce anyone's name. Let's see here. Cynthia Erivo. Not even Olivia. What the hell's wrong with me? But you have Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo playing the two witches from the great old Wizard of Oz franchise. And if you've seen the musical on Broadway or during one of the traveling programs, then you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. I know there are a lot of people who are fans of the books, and those fans are hoping that since the movies are split into part 1 and a part 2, that more stuff from the book series will be detailed and revealed in these movies. I don't know what it's going to be. for me, it kind of feels like when you watch the musical, it basically felt like there were two main acts, because you had the first act, which is basically centered around the Green Witch, right? Kind of her arc there, and like the friendship that she has with the Good Witch, right? And then there is kind of like a revelation that she has towards the end of the first act, and that plays out extremely into the second act of the movie. So we could be very much seeing the same thing happening here. However, the musical play, I believe, is like maybe 2.5, not even 3 hours long. So we're getting, what, maybe 4 hours out of this stuff. So I don't know what else they could be expanding on here, but it is a movie, and they want to make money. They want people to go out in theaters to support this thing. So I guess Universal will do whatever they can to do that. But from what we got previously in the teaser trailer, it looked interesting. It did look magical, and it looked like we were back in the world of Oz, which is pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of Ariana Grande. I do feel like she looks kind of weird in this movie. She looks very elf-like. But I noticed that she looks just like that in real life too. So it is what it is. But let's check out this new trailer for good old Wicked, the movie. This is the first full-length trailer that we're getting here. So let's check this out, shall we? All right. Let's make this big screen so we can see it. Let me make sure that this is centered for everybody over here. Give me 1 second, everybody. Give me 1 second. Center. Okay. All right, let's check this out.
Are people born wicked?
Oh, there's the hat.
Have wickedness thrust upon them.
Oh, there's a crazy monkey. Oh, there's the elf.
Welcome, new students, to Shiz University, Miss.
Oh, that's Michelle Yeoh. Yeah, there she goes.
Oh, popular. I know about popular. Oh, I saved you some space, by the way.
There's a popular song.
I do not. I was promised a private suite. But thanks for asking.
All right. It's very teen-centric.
A real sorcerer who possesses true magic has become all too rare.
Absolutely remarkable.
That was you who made all that happen.
I don't know who the guy is. Who's that guy?
I don't know. I've never known. You. Come with me.
Of course.
Not you.
Haha.
You're the one the wizard has been waiting for.
Okay.
Glinda?
She looks so weird to me. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's my granny's.
Oh, Bowen Yang is in this. That's great.
That much.
Hey.
You should join us tonight. And don't tell me you have nothing to wear. Because you could wear this.
It's a setup. Don't fall for it. Oh, this is a great song.
She doesn't give a twink what anyone thinks.
Something is not the same. Of course she does. She just pretends not to.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz summons you to the Emerald City. Come with me.
What?
To meet the wizard.
I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming.
Wow, we're seeing a lot. This is a long trailer. Oh, there he is.
Something bad is happening in Oz.
The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
No, Jeff Goldblum looks good.
You have no real power.
That's That's why I need you.
Don't let her get away. This wicked witch.
It looks very, I don't know. Hold on. I'll save my full thoughts until afterwards.
Don't be afraid.
Oh, the Munchkins. Oh, was she an outcast of the Munchkin Village? I don't remember the musical, so I'm sorry.
It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Oh, that's when she becomes evil. All right. Look, I'll. All right, stop. Thank you. I'll say this. It looks interesting. It's coming out Thanksgiving, so it's a perfect family film. It's the perfect time for the families to go out and watch something like this. I feel like that's definitely going to play well with families. It leans a little bit more towards the teen side. I didn't get that feeling when I saw the musical. I feel like here, it feels like any one of those shows that we've gotten recently, like Wednesday, Harry Potter. It follows that same type of trope and premise where it's like, okay, you have these two rivalries in school. They're all trying to be the person and all that. And then one is, outdoing the other, gets more popular, right? And then there's the jealousy that forms, and then they somehow form a friendship together. And then one person realizes that maybe they're more than what they're supposed to be, or one leans more towards the dark side, and blah, 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 this and that. So I feel like it's a very common storyline, very common thread that we've gotten, and we've seen before in previous iterations of TV and movies and what have you. I don't know, Ariana kind of takes me out of the movie because she just looks kind of weird to me. Cynthia looks great. I think she's probably going to be the strongest performer in this movie. Goldblum looks great. Michelle Yeoh looks great. Everything looks very CG. At CinemaCon, when this I don't think the movie screened, but they showed a lot of footage of the movie at CinemaCon. And you had a lot of people and I guess pundits and critics really praising the movie, saying that it's going to be a fantastic hit. It looks, wonderful and all that. But then I saw that there was like a handful of people who actually went against that and said, I don't know about this one. This one doesn't look like it's going to be that great, in all honesty. There's just some things about it that just look off. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I'm not fully intrigued in wanting to see this movie. I will eventually see it, yes, because I want to talk about it and I want to be able to give my full thoughts on it. But as of right now, it doesn't feel... It doesn't appeal to me. And maybe it's because I'm not the demographic it's trying to go for, which is very possible. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of younger generation, a lot of theater people, a lot of fans of the musical, and a lot of fans of the books who's dying to see this movie. I guess I'm just not one of them. Yeah, I'm just going to be completely honest. I thought Wizard of Oz was a great movie when it came out. It's still a great watch today. Every time they try to do some sort of sequel or some sort of follow-up to that world, it just never seems to work. Remember Return to Oz back in the day? That was a hot, stinking pile of doo-doo. And then, the musical itself, when it came out, I thought was well done. But it's different when you're seeing a performance on stage versus what they're trying to do here in the movie. We heard glimpses of Popular and Defying Gravity. And I'm sure Defying Gravity is going to be like that major hit song from this movie. The Popular song sounds a little bit annoying. And I believe that's Ariana Grande singing that one. So, but I'm sure if I was a 14-year-old, then maybe this is something that I would be, dying to see myself. I don't know. It just definitely skews towards a younger generation. But it is what it is. I'm very curious as to what everyone's reaction to this trailer was. It's got over 1 million views right now, and in some of the quotes here, let's see. Finally, or comments, I should say. Finally, a musical that isn't ashamed of being a musical. Wicked gave us a song Popular in 2003, which Micah sampled in popular song Ariana Grande in 2013. Now Iron, blah, 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 blah. I love full circle moments. What I love the most about Wicked is that it is essentially a fan fiction of the wonderful Wizard of Oz. A non-Disney musical film that isn't afraid to show off that it's a musical, but rather actively shows off and owns the fact that it's a musical. Highwood, I never thought I'd say this again, but I'm proud of you. Wow, that person has a lot of faith in this. I am not an Ariana stan, but Cynthia and Ariana have incredible voices. I'm talking voices that give people shivers. Absolutely great casting, because no one beats their vocals. Let's see. A lot of people are commenting on the vocals for the songs that we heard. Cynthia Erivo will join the honorary list of EGOT performers after winning an Oscar for Wicked. I don't know about that, but that person has a lot of hope and faith in that. Dude, like I was crying when Cynthia said the line, "It's the wizard who should be afraid of me." They're going to nail it, I swear. I feel like these are all fans of the musical, and I'm hoping they are correct. Because just based, and these are like the first 20 comments I'm seeing, you can kind of tell that these are fans of the musical themselves. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they won't get disappointed. But I don't know. For me personally, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything that's going to land well for me personally. But then again, that's just me, right? So, all right, what's going on? You can be quiet now. Thank you. Jesus. So yeah, I'm dying to know, and I'm interested to find out what all you think. Heading to the chat. What's going on, Bailey? How are you? I hope that birthday went well for you the other day. Hey, Mr. Bugs, you're 4. What are you doing watching this? Go to bed. But yeah, again, I love the type of comments that are left here sometimes. It's quite hilarious. All right, so that's Wicked. Again, a little disappointed by it, but it is what it is. Bailey, yes, I do remember. That's why I asked, how did the birthday go? I hope you had a fun time with the girls. I told you make another and you didn't. Well, I am always here. So every week you could find me here. And I'm always glad to see you and everyone else who gets to join in. So I really appreciate it. All right. So another trailer that dropped yesterday, well, that dropped this week, but yesterday instead of today, was the trailer for Megalopolis. Now, this was a trailer that, or this was just a movie that I'm very curious and interested in seeing more of. Because it is Francis Ford Coppola, and this is a passion project of Francis Ford Coppola. And he's been working on this movie for a very, very long time. So I am very curious as to what this movie is going to be about, or how it's going to look. I think I kind of know what it's about. What's going on, Kevin Mackin? I hope that's how you pronounce your name. What's going on? I hope you're having a good time. And Bailey, of course, I'm glad to see you too. Your sister's 25, 3 minutes, and I have to take shower. Okay. I guess that's one of the problems of having a lot of people in the home and having just the one shower, right? Well, I hope you can get your shower done. So, but yeah, Megalopolis is, and again, this week Cannes Film Festival just started. This movie is set to premiere for the first time at Cannes. And I don't know if, and maybe I may have missed the news bite about this, but I don't know if it has been picked up by any studio as of yet. And normally when it comes to festivals, that's in hopes and fingers crossed that this will get eventually picked up by a studio so that you could see a release here in the States or worldwide. So we got a teaser last week, which basically showed Adam Driver's character just hanging out at the side of a building, and he has the ability to stop time. And we don't know anything else but that. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more insights from this new trailer of Megalopolis that dropped yesterday. So let's check out this trailer for Megalopolis. What's going on, Stephanie J? Thank you for chatting and saying hi. Glad to see you here. Let's check out Megalopolis, shall we? Statue of Liberty. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Why is it always New York that gets plummeted and pummeled? That's not fair.
But there comes a time.
Oh, Lawrence Fishburne's in this.
Don't let the now destroy the forever.
That can't be real, right? That's just visions.
Ladies and gentlemen and children.
Adam Driver looks very different with his short hair like that. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I think Aubrey Plaza's in this.
The only one that's available to us.
We are taking our city back.
What is going on here?
We ask these questions when there's a dialogue about them. That basically is a utopia.
Okay, I think I kind of understand what's happening here. Adam Driver. Oh, wait, hold on. We're going to have to go through all that again. All right, hold on. Let's go back because I think I did see Aubrey Plaza in this. Let's see. Let's look at this cast, shall we? Hold on. All right, so we have Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Natalie Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza, I was right. Shia LaBeouf is in this, John Voight, Jason Schwartzman, Talia Shire, Grace Vanderwall, Lawrence Fishburne, Catherine Hunter, and Dustin Hoffman. Wow, what a cast. Holy cow. All right, color me totally intrigued here. And if that was Aubrey Plaza that we saw, then she looks fantastic in this movie. I'm a big Aubrey Plaza fan. Let me see. I just want to see. No, that's not her. This is such an interesting premise, and I think I kind of understand what's happening. That might have been her. I don't know.
And when we ask these questions, when there's a dialogue about
the visuals are stunning. It's very trippy. Very, very trippy. Okay. So, my assessment, I should say, my assessment of this movie. And I'm going to look here because it doesn't really give you... The only synopsis it has here is an architect wants to rebuild New York City as a utopia following a devastating disaster. So that is exactly what I took from this. Here you have what looks like an eccentric architect or someone who is of power. Whatever reason the case is, New York gets destroyed, as it always does for some reason in movies. And I don't know if this guy has a certain power or ability that whatever he draws or whatever he imagines comes to life. And that's kind of what I feel like is happening here. And he builds it in a way that's more of like a dream state, more like a conglomeration of different empires and different metropolitan cities and locations. and societies, and he creates something that in his mind is the perfect kind of metropolis, or maybe as he's going to call it, a megalopolis, right? And because of that, it may have caused a divide amongst the people living in New York or who's lived there. It almost feels like you're playing that video game Civilization or SimCity, where you're kind of building your own kind of utopia. And of course, not everything's going to go right, and you're going to deal with the repercussions that happens because of what you're doing. So that kind of feels like what we're getting here. And it, like I said, it looks very dreamy, very, very fantastical in a way. Very, very interesting. I will say, like, all of a sudden now this has become one of those movies that I am very much anticipating to see. I can't wait to see and check it out, because I can't even tell you the last Francis Ford Coppola movie that came out, or maybe that I've seen. I recently rewatched The Dracula about a month ago, and I remember that movie's not great, first of all, but at the same time, there's just something about that movie that I really appreciate. Maybe it's the bad acting from Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder. Maybe it's the overacting from who is that? The guy who plays Dracula. God, I can't. Sometimes I'm really on point with these movies, and then sometimes my memory just escapes me. Francis Ford Coppola. Gary Oldman. Duh. Gary Oldman, yeah. Like, Gary Oldman kind of overacts in this. Anthony Hopkins is way over the top in this movie. But there's just something about that movie that kind of has a charm that always captures me. Maybe it's kind of like one of those guilty pleasure type of movies. What's going on, Chalet? I hope I said your name right, and if I didn't, please let me know. But thank you for tuning in and chiming in. But I'm very, very curious as to how this movie is going to be like. So Megalopolis, there you go. Put that on your list of movies to check out based off of this trailer, because it does look very fascinating to me. And there's no release date as of yet, because again, I think they're trying to get a studio signed on to release it and help them put it out there. Hopefully, I have a strong feeling. All right, here's my prediction. Like I said, Cannes is this week. Today we had a 7-minute standing ovation for Furiosa. I'm predicting that when this movie premieres at Cannes, it's gonna get a 13-minute standing ovation for Francis Ford Coppola. And we will hear that a studio has picked it up after the screening this week. I guarantee that that's what's going to happen. So there you have it. All right. What else can we check out here? How about another movie? This movie is a movie that I've heard about during last year's festival circuit. I believe it was shown at New York Film Festival, but I didn't have a chance to check it out as when I was covering New York Film Festival last year. But it's a movie called Didi. And the one thing that really intrigued me about this movie is that it sounds like a very sweet coming-of-age story that takes place in the 90s or early 2000s, I believe, which is a period of time that I think a lot of us can relate to. And it just sounds very sweet. So I'm reading here. Plus, it is from filmmaker Sean Wang, who was previously nominated for an Academy. I don't know for which movie, but I'm going to look that up just briefly. So, written and directed by Academy Award nominated filmmaker Sean Wang. The film is set in 2008 in San Francisco. Funny, irreverent, and affecting ode to first-generation teenagers navigating the joy and chaos of adolescence as seen through the lens of a 13-year-old Taiwanese-American boy. Played by Isaac Wang, who was in Good Boys, Disney's Raya, and The Last Dragon. It premiered at Sundance, and it received critical and audience acclaim, winning both the U.S. Dramatic Audience Award and the U.S. Dramatic Special Jury Award for Best Ensemble Cast. So that sounds exciting there. So definitely want to check this out. It sounds intriguing. It sounds definitely like a movie that I would be interested in. And Sean Wang, let's see, filmmaker. What was he nominated for? Oh, okay. So last year, Sean Wang did a very sweet short documentary film called Nai Nai and Wai Po. And it was nominated for, I believe, documentary short at this past Oscars. And it was a very, very sweet and cute film about two grandmothers, I guess you could call them, but two elderly women that live together and kind of like how they go about their everyday lives and all. Oh my God. I love that short so much. It was so well done. So yeah, so I guess this is his first full-length feature film, and I'm definitely curious in checking this out. So here is the trailer for Didi, the official trailer release here, and let's check it out. Oh! It already feels very 2008.
Just call me Wang Wang.
What should I call you?
You're never gonna survive high school.
You're like a lizard with your scaly ass eczema skin.
Pizza face!
Alright, lizard bitch.
Hey, just call me a bitch!
Bitch.
什么叫 bitch？ 说这话。
Yeah, this is very punk, like punk rock.
Max 啊，保持4.0的 GPA。哦 ，Chris 拍 video。
Oh my God, it's like early Jackass days.
You're handsome. That's why Manny likes you, baby.
Lean into the person until your lips touch.
Oh my God, this is like early days of YouTube too.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
What?
I am nervous. I'm sorry.
Wow, look at all those praises.
Fine.
Child. Little MGMT action.
知道你这样做，别人会怎么看我？
I'm your son. I'm sorry I'm not a bragging right to your friends. If you guys need a filmer, I film.
So,
Oh, that's crazy.
What people you've been hanging out with?
Friends.
Promise me you won't do anything stupid.
Are you ashamed of me?
I'm Didi. No, you're beautiful. I'm for you. No, I love you. Didi.
Oh, that's so sweet. I think she was in the documentary.
But sometimes it's a little hard.
Oh, wow. That looks so good. That really looks amazing. It's an interesting, so we've gotten stories. So when I was growing up, or I should say like when I was in high school, the one movie that everyone would talk about was the movie Kids. And it basically told the story, or it recapped the generation at the time. You know, late 90s going into the early 2000s. And it was a very brutal telling of what happens to like city kids, right? And what we go through on a daily basis, the things that we get ourselves into, and, you know, all those things. When I was, you know, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I had movies like The Breakfast Club that kind of did similar things. Seth Rogen, I believe, it was either Seth Rogen or I forgot who directed this movie, but A24 put out another movie called Mid-90s, which was like another coming-of-age story of kids growing up in the 90s. So I feel like every generation kind of needs that movie that tells kind of how it was growing up during that time period. this, for me, looks like an amazing representation of growing up in the late 2000s, going into the early 2010s, when, you know, a lot of people were coming off of the angst and anger of the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, the Limp Bizkit era, the Jackass era. YouTube is very new at the time, right? So a lot of people were finding and, you know, familiarizing themselves with the internet, basically, and watching videos online. And I remember, and I just had this conversation with a good friend of mine, where the majority of the videos that were posted on YouTube around that time when it first came out were small clippets of like people doing stupid things, but most of it were like skateboarder videos. So I thought it was like, this is perfect, because it is around that time where you have, I guess Didi is the name of the boy, or Asian Chris, as he was being referred to here in the trailer, is finding his way of becoming like kind of like a quote unquote filmmaker, or someone who loves capturing moments on film. Hooks up with a bunch of skateboarders, and now that's his life, and he becomes like a skater documentary person or a skater videographer, which was such a thing during that time too. I mean, this is around the same era, around the same time when Supreme got very popular and big. So the skater lifestyle and this skater kind of persona and look got really big and popular in the 2000s. And somehow the skater life got like a resurgence, it was kind of like reborn, because it was absent for a while, and then I guess it was like reimagined after the whole Jackass era, you know, because a lot of those guys were former skaters, and it kind of like highlighted the popularity and I guess the lavishing lifestyle of not giving a fuck and doing whatever you want. So I love how this movie seems to incorporate a lot of that in there. Plus, it's also a very heartfelt, from what it looks like, a heartfelt coming of age story, especially for someone who is of ethnicity growing up around that time. So I'm going to be very curious as to how they address that, as far as like the ethnicity growing up around that time, because it wasn't easy for a lot of people too. So yeah, it looks great. It looks really, really good, and I can't wait to check it out when it comes out. I kind of feel bad that I didn't have a chance to check it out when I had that chance before, but yeah, everyone will have a chance to hopefully check it out when it comes out in July. So yeah, let me know in the comments if that looks like something that you would totally be interested in, because I'm totally interested in it myself. All right, let's see here. So we got a lot of other trailers to check out today. There's a very short teaser from Lionsgate about a movie called Never Let Go. Let's see. Very, very short. I usually don't like checking out such short trailers because you really don't get anything out of it. But it looks like we're getting a horror movie here, and it's starring Halle Berry. So let's just quickly check it out just to see what it's about. Maybe we can get some insights as to what's going on here. 18 seconds only, so we're not going to see much of anything. Spooky house, spooky drawings. There's Halle Berry looking all spooked out. Oh! Alright. Oh, we're going to get a full trailer tomorrow. Alright, so I guess I will wait till tomorrow. Shut up, Wicked. I already saw you. I guess I'll check out tomorrow when they release a full trailer there. But that looks interesting. Looks very demonic. Anytime... That's one of the reasons why I like the Evil Dead movies. And why, for me, they work. Because one of the things I always get afraid of is the woods. And there's just something scary about being in the woods alone. Especially if you're like in the woods at night, in a cabin. You hear all the nature around you. Like, you never know what's going to happen. That's why any movie that takes place in the woods, I get freaked out on. So, that looks like that's going to be interesting to check out there. Um, Lionsgate released some other movies that look like they're going to be train wrecks, if I'm going to be very honest here. One of them is called Blackwater Lane. It stars Minka Kelly, I think Dermot Mulroney. You know what? For shits and giggles, let's check it out. Yeah, so you got Dermot Mulroney and Minka Kelly in Blackwater Lane. Supernatural thriller based on the wildly successful New York Times best-selling book by B.A. Paris. After witnessing a tragedy on a dangerous country road, Cass is visited by a ghostly presence and begins to question her sanity. As these otherworldly experiences intensify, Cass is driven to the brink until she begins to assemble the pieces of a horrific plot against her. That is Blackwater Lane. So let's check out this trailer for Blackwater Lane. PG-13. Can't be good.
Hello?
Hi, it's me. I'm in your phone. Yes. Is that your ass? Oh, jump scare! Ah, I'm surrounded by plastic. Oh.
Your imagination's
I'm Dermot Mulroney. I don't believe anybody.
You've been having trouble remembering things.
I don't think so.
Oh, we got tarot cards in this one. Why not? Got mansions, tarot cards, shadows.
Woman's been found dead not that far from here.
Where?
Blackwater Lane.
Scary.
Is it?
Something about it feels connected.
Were you still taking pills?
Oh, she's a pill taker too? Oh, no. You have all the tropes. Oh, dead bird. Oh my god, help me.
I think I'd have to pack up and move.
Of course, taking a bath in the bathtub. Very tropey.
You're sick when you can accept that.
It doesn't make any sense. There's definitely someone there.
This looks awful.
I found something. I think it's mine.
Look, honestly, I don't even know what's happening here. It's just a bunch of nonsense from what it looks like. Okay, that looked terrible. I'm gonna say it right now. That looked awful. What's going on, Faithy? Thanks for chiming in. Hope you're having a wonderful day, evening. Yeah, Blackwater Lane, more like who gives a fuck lane. Sorry, that was. Yeah, sorry, that was awful. This looks awful. That movie looks terrible. I'm definitely not going to be watching that anytime soon. And why am I getting a call on WhatsApp from a Gianna that I don't know anyone about? Okay, that's weird. It's a weird day today, guys. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Should I answer it? Why is that someone calling me? How much you want to bet? It's probably some like very bad Chinese voice message. Yeah, no, I don't have the patience for that right now. But yeah, Blackwater Lane. Check it out if you dare. And then there's another trailer from Lionsgate. Lionsgate was on a roll releasing trailers. It's another movie called It's Not Over. This one, oh, this is going to be a fun one to see. It stars Christopher Lambert and Gianna Capaldi. All right. You know what? Let's read the synopsis of this movie here. In the middle of a torrid love affair, the lives of Sarah and Max are thrown upside down after Sarah's abusive husband dies in a freak domestic accident. Now able to share their love in the light of day, the happy new couple appear to have everything they have ever desired, until Max notices something different and disturbing about Sarah. As he digs deeper into Sarah's strange behavior, he uncovers a dark secret beyond comprehension. Christopher Lambert stars in a spine-chilling thriller that will keep you guessing until the very last minute. All right, so can we believe this synopsis? Will it have us, chilling and thrilling, guessing until the very last minute? Let's check out this trailer too. It's not over. Because it's not over until it's over.
I want to take a picture of you.
Me?
Yes, I'd like
Me?
to take a picture. Come on.
Why?
You remember I told you Sarah was this really talented photographer? Dad, you're going to
I lied. She's not. She's awful. And I hate how I look in her photos. Oh, hello. Sexy time.
love you.
Sexy time.
This girl is good for you.
I'm going to
Until she's not.
Easier if
Move in together. Freedom is the most important thing I have.
I've just learned she has a very particular personality.
Don't you talk to me like that.
Okay. So she's psychotic. Oh, and she kills animals. That's nice. And takes pictures of them.
What is it with this picture? It's always kind of crooked.
Oh.
Why should you do this?
I think you should leave now. Get out of my house.
Before I kill you and take your photo.
You're Max's parents. Is he here?
I haven't seen him. Maybe he left without telling anyone.
She did something.
Do you know how many people
What happened to Christopher Lambert's face?
never want to be found?
Definitely not my son.
Oh man.
Know something.
That guy was Raiden in Mortal Kombat.
Coincidences don't exist.
What are you talking about? I didn't know anything.
Sarah?
I'm gonna kill you, Sarah!
Her husband dies in an accident.
That shot is so overplayed. The whole shot of the guy standing there and then the car drives by and they disappear. Oh, she left me tied up. It's not over, Sarah.
Do you have any ill intentions? I mean, should I be worried?
You should.
Because I'm gonna cut your penis off. What kind of horror? This is the kind of movie that you would watch like late night HBO Cinemax. That is the type of movie you would watch during like the only time you will ever watch a movie like that. Late night, you have nothing else to do, you're bored. Maybe you see her and maybe you see her in that like little lingerie and you're like, ooh, maybe this could be like a nice saucy film to watch. And it turns out to be like a very cheesy and corny horror thriller movie. Yeah, I feel, I don't know what's happening with Christopher Lambert's face. Like he looks like he is, I don't know, like that is a waxed version of his face or a replacement face. You know, he looks like he belongs in the movie Face Off or something. Yeah, it looks horrible. This movie looks terrible. And I feel like that is like a prime contender for a bad movie night right there. Because it just looks horrendous. But I will probably not be catching that movie when it comes out. And if I do watch it, it's because I want to watch it during a bad movie night. And I want to kind of roast it as I'm watching it. Because that's like the only way I would ever watch a movie like that. So, oh, terrible. Terrible. But it's nice to know that a studio like Lionsgate can put out such great movies. You know, like they put out Sisu last year. And they could do other movies have other movies under their belt. I believe they're the studio responsible for what's that? The catching, what is it? The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, right? The whole why can't I think of it? My brain is mush. the thing, the Hunger Games. That's it. They're the same studio that puts out the Hunger Game movies, and then they could put out movies like this, Blackwater Lane, and it's not over. It's not over until I say it's over. I'm gonna take pictures of your dead body. So anyway, but along with these movie trailers, we were also treated to some other trailers for some upcoming seasons of TV shows coming out. One of which, well, actually, I'm actually looking forward to all of these, to be completely honest with you. You have Dune Prophecy coming out on Max this year, which is a prequel to the Dune series, movie series, that really tells the story about the Bene Gesserits. The Bene Gesserits. There you go. I'll say that 3 times fast, will you? So I'm very much looking forward to that. And I know Denis Villeneuve is very much involved in the making of this show, so I really want to check that out. Then you have season 2s of House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings of Power. So first up, let's check out Dune Prophecy, which is the Max show coming out in the Dune universe. And I'm so much looking forward to this. So let's check this out. Let's check it out. The Max original.
Before the birth of Paul Atreides. Before the universe would know us as the Bene Gesserit.
Is this actual footage from the show, or?
Sisterhood. Assigned to the great houses.
Looks good.
Them sift truth from lies.
Oh, is that Mark Strong?
We created a network of influence throughout the Imperium. But power comes with a price.
Yeah, that's Mark Strong. Oh, he looks great.
Sister on the throne. Nothing.
Oh. Eat these berries.
This is the marriage that makes it possible. This is us playing God, and we will be judged for it.
Hmm. Oh, another Harkonnen involved, huh? This looks great. Dune Prophecy.
Sisterhood above all.
Is she supposed to be... Alright. Is she playing the younger version of the elderly person in the movies? You know, the one who is always barking orders at Rebecca Ferguson's character and all that. Is she playing the younger version of her? Kind of looks like it to me. That show looks fantastic. I'm excited for that series now. I can't wait to check that out. It's going to be interesting to hear how they tell the story of the Bene Gesserits and how they become such a major influence in the world of Dune. Because it does seem like they have their hands tied to a lot of things. And they, in a way, are kind of like the puppet masters behind the scenes when it comes to a lot of these decisions. Or they at least find their way into touching all of these things. So very, very interesting to check that out. EC, that's a wonderful way to get yourself completely banned from the channel. So congratulations. I hope that makes you happy there. Saying such silly things like that. You know, I just don't understand. Like, look, I'm all about saying whatever you want to say in chat and everything. But what do you get out of saying such stupid things? That's what I want to know. I want to know, like, you know, saying such stupid comments. Like, what do you get out of it? You know, do you like masturbate to yourself as you're saying these things, as you pat yourself on the back and rub one out? I'm just very curious. Because, you know, I can tell you right now, you should probably spend your time better-wise somewhere else and doing other things. But I appreciate the chat. Thank you. Anyway, Dune Prophecy looks like that's going to be something I'm going to look a lot, I'm going to look very much forward to. The synopsis here is like 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides. So we're going way back in time for this one. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that coven, and there's no other better way to describe them, as they are a coven of like what seems to be like witches, I guess, right? Because they do have that power. And it's very, very interesting to see how they come into formation and their influence and control over the entire, all the family houses in the Dune universe. So, but it does look like we still have a Harkonnen influencer in there. So that's going to be interesting to check out. All right, the next trailer I want to definitely check out here is Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2. I am probably one of the few that actually really enjoyed the first season. I do admit, though, it was a very slow rollout, and the series itself got stronger the later in the season it got. And I've said this before, I hate telling people that, because it's like telling people you have to wade through a whole bunch of crap in order to get to the good stuff. If someone told me that every time, I would hate that, so... But it's true in this case, where I thought the season was at its strongest probably within the last 4 episodes of the season. And it had me excited and looking forward to what they're going to do in season 2. Plus, it still amazes me the fact that the amount of money Amazon has spent on this show in particular. It'll just be very, very interesting to see what we have now in store for season 2. If we're still going to maintain the same type of quality as far as visual effects and storytelling is concerned. I also think season 1 was poorly hampered by the mistiming of its release, because it came out around the same time, if I believe, around the same time as The Last of Us, or was it House of the Dragon? I forget which one it was. But when you have competing fantasy stories against each other, and you have such a fan base for Game of Thrones, then of course you're going to have more people probably choosing that over Lord of the Rings, even though there is also equally a strong base of Lord of the Rings. But yeah, I'm just curious to see what we have in store for season 2 here. So let's check out the trailer for season 2 of The Rings of Power, shall we? See Mount Doom.
Ancient and powerful has returned.
Oh, that looks spooky. What is that? There's Galadriel. Oh, I love this. I love that we're getting out the elves in action here.
Worms his way inside your mind. The crest of him slithers in.
The influence of Sauron.
I think he has been here. I think
there's an eye.
Among us all along.
Is this the embodiment of Sauron right here?
Every soul in Middle Earth is in peril.
Oh, damn. There are the rings. Oh, the eagles! Yeah, that's Sauron. Oh, man. Oh. There's his castle. Or his tower. Alright. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It has everything kind of what I want. I want to see more action. I want to see the elves do more things. And it looks like this is the season where we're going to see the distribution of the rings for the first time. which is pretty cool. We've only seen that in flashbacks in the movie trilogy, right? But we're gonna see really them doling them out, I guess, and seeing how that affects each of the kingdoms. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm actually really much looking forward to that. I can't wait. That looks like that's gonna be fun. And like I said, I'm one of the few who enjoy this show so far that I know. I think more people should try to give it a shot. I don't think they gave it a fair shot the first time around. But I also understand if it's not for you. I mean, we're getting this. And then, what is it? Warner Brothers just announced that they're teaming up with Peter Jackson again to do another anthology series of films. The first one being another Gollum movie, right? A movie about Gollum. And we're going to be getting a lot of Lord of the Rings content in the next couple of years. So they're really stretching it, man. They're stretching that franchise as much as they can. And it's interesting to see like who has the rights to what, because you have Warner Brothers, who has the rights to like the Peter Jackson version of the Lord of the Rings. You have Amazon, who has the separate rights to Lord of the Rings that is more based on the books, I guess. But even though it looks very much like the Peter Jackson universe, so it is what it is. But I'm curious. I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to this season when it comes out. Another season that I'm looking forward to when it comes out is House of the Dragon season 2. So the previous trailers that they released was sometime around before Super Bowl, and I didn't have a chance to check them out. I don't know. I had them saved up, and I thought I was going to watch them originally, but I never did. But I liked the concept that they did, where it was basically they had one trailer for the good side and one trailer for the bad side, right? So you had opposing trailers for each side of the different families there, the two families, which I thought was very, very interesting and very well constructed. I wish I saw them, but I never did. But here we have the first full-length official trailer to season 2 of House of the Dragon. I'll just never forget what happened towards the end of the first season. That poor boy, with him dying and getting eaten up by the dragon of the other dude. And you could tell by the mom's face just how she felt when it happened and when she was told what happened. And I remember saying it to myself, like, oh, watch out. Nothing good's going to come out of this at all. And I guess we're going to find out what's going to happen here. So let's check out the trailer for Game of Thrones House of the Dragon Season 2. Coming at ya.
The Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or a queen.
They're the eggs.
They are a protector of the realm. Now I find myself in an impossible position.
All hail, King Aegon!
The enemy usurped my throne.
We're going to King's Landing.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well,
that's not good.
What are we going to do about it?
We must play the ball.
There he is.
Proceed cautiously.
Fuck dignity.
Wow. Yikes. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
The great houses will come to our side.
I did not think they would be so eager to die.
I love the arrogance. He does so good like that, Matt Smith.
The realm's only hope is in a leader strong enough to unite it.
Yo, that dragon is huge.
Accept me as your queen and ruler.
Well, you guys did kind of bone before, right? So. Whoops.
This senseless war and send shall never prevail. Not like this.
Alicent holds love for our enemy. That makes her a fool.
I love that we're getting a little bit of the wall too.
The enemy without may be fought with swords. The enemy within is more insidious.
Oh man, this is looking so epic right now.
There is more than one way to fight a war.
Oh, it's nice to see Sonoya Mizuno back. Yes, give me more dragons, more dragon fighting.
War is coming, and neither of us may win.
Ah, get ready. Oh man, that looks great. That looks fantastic. Oh, I'm in. Sign me up. That looks like that's going to be a lot of fun. Oh man. There's really nothing more to say about it, to be honest with you. I mean, we're getting the continuation of everything we wanted more of from the first season. More dragon fighting, more conflict. I don't know how much more sex and incense we're going to get, but maybe they're going to sprinkle some of that around there. It wouldn't be Game of Thrones without any of that stuff, right? Is it just me, right? But yeah, that looks like that's going to be a lot of fun. Very entertaining. I can't wait for that. Over 2 million, almost 3 million views of this trailer now on YouTube. Tons of people are excited for this. And let's see, that compared to Rings of Power. Wow. Well, this is the IGN version too, so it's only 95,000 views. But I won't be surprised if more people are really excited for House of Dragon over Rings of Power. I think that goes without saying, to be honest. But regardless, I mean, both are, in my opinion, fun shows, fun seasons, and I can't wait to check out more when it finally comes out. So I'm excited. But yeah, obviously let me know whether you're watching live or on the replay, if these are shows that you're very excited for, if you want to check out when they come out. I would love to hear all your thoughts and comments on all of that stuff. All right. So that covers the trailer portion of this stream this evening. Again, I hope everyone's having a good day, good night, wherever you're hailing from. Death Gambit. Okay. Is that in reference to something? Dark Ops? I'm curious if that is in reference to anything in particular. Or if you just wanted to just come in and drop in that thing. All right. So a lot of interesting news came out this past week. Or this week. We're still in this week right now. But there's a lot of interesting news that came out movie related wise. And since I wasn't able to really stream on Monday, the one thing I always do on Mondays is I always go over to box office. And I have to say that I was really pleased with the results of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, I knew that it was going to be a big weekend for them. I just wasn't expecting it to be this big. And it's all relative, of course, because if you compare it to other movies, maybe it may seem small. But I think in today's landscape, it is definitely not. It is definitely a good haul overall for this franchise. So if you check out the weekend box office here, you have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes that came in first, pulling in $58.4 million domestically. Now, if you combine worldwide altogether, $141.5 million for its debut weekend. And I think that is a really strong number. Really strong number. And when you break down kind of the daily since the weekend, you have the 14th, which was yesterday, Tuesday, 5.9 million. Monday, 4.4 million. So it seems to be doing pretty well as the week goes on. Now up to 68.8 million as of yesterday is concerned. So it's doing really well at the box office. And I think deservingly so, because it was such a well done movie. Really nice addition to this franchise that they're now currently in. And I think I love the fact, and I mentioned this last week, it's a nice kind of start to a new trilogy, if that's what they're working on, to be on its own without any reliance on the Caesar character and what they have already established in the last 3 movies. So to take all of that, fast forward ahead, as they say, multiple generations later, which is probably, I read somewhere that it's probably like 500 years later or something like that, and see where things are then or now, and start a new storyline from here. I also love how it's kind of parallels the events of what happened in the original movies, where it's now the apes kind of going against each other in a way, and the humans are basically like the apes of this new iteration, with them kind of, or us as an audience, learning many things about them that we weren't thinking about. I'm trying not to give out any spoilers because I already spoiled a lot last week. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, then obviously I won't spoil anything for you. But if you do, or if you have, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that there is definitely kind of like a reversal of roles in this new movie. And I love how they kind of play on that. So really, I'm happy to see that. The Fall Guy dropped to second, 13.6 million. 49.6 million overall domestically. Worldwide, it's at 106.4. Not bad, but I think that is way low than it should be. I think that movie should have done much better. So it's kind of disappointing to hear that. Challengers remains on third with 4.3 million. 37.7 million overall domestically. Taro is still in fourth place, 3.4 million. Godzilla X Kong, it dropped, or it remains at 5 in fifth place from last week. But I have a feeling this is going to totally drop out of the top 10 next weekend, because as of this week, it's now available to rent and buy on digital, video on demand. So you can check it out there. But I think worldwide, it has achieved 558.9 million, which is great for that movie. So that's doing really well. Unsung Hero is a faith-based movie from Lionsgate, 2.5 million, 17 million overall. Kung Fu Panda still hanging in there in the top 10 at 7th place, 1.8 million. Civil War, Alex Garland's movie, is in 8th place, dropping down from 6th with 1.8 million. All right, not bad. And Phantom Menace, the 25th anniversary re-release of the Phantom Menace, dropped to 9th, but pulled in 1.4 million over the weekend. This tells basically the whole movie as a whole, the entire box office, including when it first came out. So I don't know what the run was. I would have to do some math, and I don't do math. So I would have to do that separately when I have a chance to see how much it's pulled in since its re-release. And then rounding out the top 10, you have Abigail, 1.1 million, 24.7 million overall domestically. So that was just a little recap of the box office that I wasn't able to do on Monday because, like I mentioned at the start of the stream, I totally forgot that Monday was Monday. And I didn't prepare myself to stream at all. So that's so weird that happened. But with that being said, a whole bunch of movies have been kind of talked about this past week with a lot of news that are dropping. One of the things that was very interesting to find out is that we have another casting news for the Fantastic Four movie. Last week, we got the news that you have John Malkovich and Ralph Ineson being cast in Fantastic Four. Ralph Ineson is going to be Galactus, the MCU's Galactus, which is a lot of fun to think about. Great voice, great character actor. We don't know who John Malkovich is playing, but we also were told the week prior to that Paul Walter Hauser was also cast in Fantastic Four. Now we are learning that Natasha Lyonne has been cast in Fantastic Four. So the cast for this movie just gets bigger and bigger and more stacked and more interesting, to be quite honest with you. So here we are on The Hollywood Reporter. Natasha Lyonne is the latest star to join the Fantastic Four. The actress is set to board the cast of the forthcoming Marvel Studios movie in an undisclosed role, Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Matt Shakman is directing the high-profile Disney project, blah, 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 filming all this to be released July 25th, 2025. Then the article kind of continues to just recap everyone that's been announced so far as the cast is concerned. Let's not forget, obviously, the main cast of Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, Evan Moss-Backrack, and then Julia Garner, who is in addition to the Paul Walter Hauser, John Malkovich, and Ralph Ineson announcement and all. So a lot of people in this movie. And like I said, this movie is getting more and more stacked. I don't know what character Natasha Lyonne could be playing here. I can't think of one right now. The only person I could think of, and this is more because of like a fan casting in my head, is there's this character with the red hair and the black stripe. I forgot who the character name is, but all you comic book fans out there would probably know more than I do. But she seems to pop up a lot in the Fantastic Four comic books and in a lot of the storylines. So it'll be really interesting to see if she plays that person, but I don't know who she's going to play. But it just adds more well-known actors and actresses, more pedigree to this movie Fantastic Four, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Also, with all the rumors that have been coming out, is it just me, or does it feel like if this was circa late 90s, early 2000s, one of the actors that I always said was the main straight to DVD or straight to home video actor was Wesley Snipes for a while. For a while, Wesley Snipes has done so many movies that went straight to home video, straight to DVD. Then Bruce Willis was another one of those actors that did a lot of that. I feel like Adam Sandler, with his deal with Netflix, has become that in this modern day and age. Except Adam Sandler does seem to have that following that always enjoys every time a new movie comes out. And sometimes he will surprise us with a very good movie or a well-done movie. And it's been rumored for a long time that he's been working on a script for Happy Gilmore 2. And Netflix finally made an official announcement this week that Adam Sandler will be working with them on the sequel to Happy Gilmore. And it's official order from Netflix to come out with that. So here on The Hollywood Reporter, confirming the news here. The streamer announced at its upfront presentation to advertisers on Wednesday that it was moving forward with the Happy Gilmore 2, with Adam Sandler on board to reprise his role as the titular rage golfer. In 1996, Hominy Stands, written by Sandler and Tim Hurley, stands as one of Sandler's most popular films, telling the story of an ice hockey player who discovers he can channel his anger into winning pro golf tournaments. There's no details as of release date is concerned as of yet, but Sandler previously told the Dan Patrick Show that the film was in development. Dude, we've been talking about a Happy 2 and we're working on some stuff, but don't tell anybody. Drew Barrymore also teased the announcements on her talk show, telling viewers, "This just in, I have breaking news. I'll just say this from my source that Happy Gilmore 2 is in process." Christopher McDonald, who plays Shooter McGavin in the first film, suggested his character might return in the sequel. I saw Adam Sandler about 2 weeks ago, and he says to me, "McDonald, you're gonna love this." McDonald said during a radio interview. I said, "What?" He says, "How about that?" And he shows me the first draft of Happy Gilmore 2. So there you go. So no surprise that we're finally going to get a sequel to this. Again, with the contract and whatever money Netflix is throwing at Adam Sandler, I feel like he's down to do whatever, as long as it makes sense for him. And of course, it would make sense for a sequel to Happy Gilmore to eventually finally come out. And it looks like we are getting just that. And we're finally going to get some more Happy Gilmore. So if you are a fan of Adam Sandler and you're a fan of that movie, then you'll be uberly excited, to say the least. As far as movie news is also concerned, Warner Brothers announced a lot of stuff as far as release dates for some of their upcoming projects, but it looks like they are really going strong on making sure that they solidify some dates for their DC movies, especially with all the news and the hubbub lately about Superman Legacy with the release of the photo that we got recently. So now it sounds like they are really focusing heavy on the Superman franchise, because the next movie that comes out after that has a release date finalized is Supergirl. And that was what Warner Brothers announced. I believe it was today or yesterday. Sorry. Yeah, Supergirl movie lands June 2026 release in theaters. In addition to dating the DC superhero pick, Warner also reveals release plans for Mortal Kombat 2 and Zack Cregger's Weapons, among other titles. So DC is wasting no time in setting release date for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow now that the movie has found its director. The high-profile movie will fly into cinemas on June 26, 2026, DC and Warner Brothers announced Tuesday. It is the second film to receive a release date since James Gunn and Peter Safran were brought in to overhaul DC under the new banner DC Studios. The first was Superman, which Gunn is currently shooting for a July 2025 release date. Filmmaker Greg Gillespie was tapped by Gunn and Safran to shepherd Supergirl, which stars Millie Alcock of House of the Dragon, which we just looked at recently, the new trailer for that. She'll play Superman's Kara Zor-El, the cousin of Superman. The feature film, from a script by Ana Noguera, is inspired by the Tom King and Bilquis Evely comic and will depart from the earnest take on the character seen on CW's Supergirl series. The movie is set to shoot this fall. So in addition to that, obviously there were other dates announced as well, including New Line's Mortal Kombat 2, which will hit theaters on October 24, 2025. Simon McQuoid is returning to direct from a script by Jeremy Slater, based on the video game created by Ed Boon and John Tobias. The sequel's ensemble cast includes Carl Urban, Adeline Rudolph, Louis Tan, Jessica McNamee, Josh Lawson, Tadanobu Asano, sorry if I butchered that name, Mechad Brooks, Ludi Lin, Damon Harriman, Teddy Gabriel, Martin Ford, and Chin Han. Joe Taslim and Hiroyuki Sanada also in this movie too. Todd Garner and James Wan, Simon McQuoid, E. Bennett Walsh, and Toby Emmerich are producing. Then New Line's Companion will kick off the year and open on January 10, 2025. The sci-fi thriller is produced by Zach Cregger alongside Rafael Margulies and J.D. Lifshitz. What a name. Could you imagine having a name Lifshitz? Hi there, Lifshitz. Thanks. Of Boulder Light Pictures and Vertigo's Roy Lee, with Drew Hancock directing. Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher star alongside Lucas Gage, Megan Suri, Harvey Guillen, and Rupert Friend. Vertigo. So is this based off of a comic book companion? Sounds like it might be. That sounds interesting. The Maverick producing horror team behind Companion and last year's Barbarian is also the creative force making Weapons, which Warner's will open on January 16, 2026. Cregger is directing that film, which stars Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Alden Ehrenreich. Wow, what a cast so far. Austin Abrams, Carrie Christopher, with Benedict Wong and Amy Madigan. Wow. That sounds like that's going to be interesting. Barbarian was a surprise to me. I kind of actually really enjoyed that movie when I saw it. So if that's all the same team, that should be really exciting to see. Warner's also announced the release date for the animated holiday pick Margie Claus, which is set to open on November 5th, 2027. Melissa McCarthy is voicing the title role and is producing the Warner Brothers animation title alongside her producing partner and husband Ben Falcone and Pilar Flynn. Well, we already know that Melissa McCarthy doesn't do anything without her husband. So anytime she's done anything, he's always around. So that's really interesting. So it's nice to get some dates on the calendar there from Warner Brothers on some of their movies coming out, especially the big news being Supergirl, which is really interesting, again, to see the focus really on Superman being the first one out of the gate, Supergirl a year after. Who knows what's going to happen after that? But it looks like the main focus really is the Superman franchise there, which is not what we saw before, when the focus really wasn't on Superman, when all of us were kind of clamoring it to be, or at least kind of push some of that focus onto Superman. But it looks like the focus really switched over to Batman and the supporting cast, the other characters within the DCU. So very, very interesting to see that shift in focus moving forward. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And because of a lot of these like announcements and a lot of these like dates that were dropped, I saw this post on Twitter that I found extremely fascinating. And it just highlights how busy the summer of 2026 has become. As of right now, if all the dates remain the way they are at the moment, that summer is going to be bonkers crazy. So just to show you here, these are the dates and the movies that are scheduled and slated for summer of 2026. We have May 2nd, Avengers 5. If that remains to be the date for that, if that sticks, that's when we're going to get the 5th Avengers movie. May 22nd, that's Mandalorian and Grogu, now with newly cast member Sigourney Weaver starring in that. We have on June 5th, the live-action Masters of the Universe movie, which has been teased for a long time. On the 12th of June, we have an untitled movie from the Daniels, the guys who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think a lot of people are really excited and anticipating what they have next in store for us. So that's going to be a highly anticipated movie. Then on the 19th, we have Toy Story 5, another sequel to the Toy Story franchise. The week after that, we have Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And then 2 weeks after that, we have Moana, the live-action Moana movie. Then we have another Marvel Studios movie coming out, I believe, 2 weeks after Moana. And then at the end of July, we have Paw Patrol 3. So holy shit. The summer of 2026 is going to be insanity as far as movie releases are concerned. So, I don't know. Mark your calendars. Make sure you have all your dates squared away. Because if you want to catch any of them, or all of them, you're going to have a busy summer that year. That's going to be crazy. Let's see. What else? So much to talk about. And of course, yes, I am going to be talking about X-Men. So I'm saving that for the end here. Let's see here. We got new photos that were released, from The Last of Us Season 2 that's currently filming. Now, I don't usually like to show these type of things, but Last of Us was a show that I really enjoyed. I really, really liked that season a lot. I'm a big fan of the video game, so it's really nice to see what we're getting here. But these are the new photos. So you have Ellie here, and then you have Joel. This looks like this is taking place in the barn from the second video game. So that looks interesting. I don't know where this is taking place from, but there you go. New photos, Season 2, Last of Us. Now, show me a trailer and I'll be more excited for that, to be honest. All right. Let's see what else here. Oh, yeah. Apparently, there is an anime series called Terminator Zero that's based on the Terminator franchise, which I didn't know anything about. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Terminator Zero anime series. So we're having a first look here with some pictures. Netflix announced on August 29th premiere date for the anime series Terminator Zero, based on James Cameron's legendary sci-fi film franchise. In 2022, a future war has raged for decades between the few human survivors and an endless army of machines after the AI known as Skynet gained self-awareness and began its war against humanity in 1997. The fictional 1997 and 2022, because current situation right now is that we don't have any crazy AI trying to kill us. Not yet. There is a lot of talk about AI for sure. But caught between the future and his past is a soldier sent back in time to change the fate of humanity. Excuse me, sorry. She arrives in Japan 1997, just prior to Judgment Day, to protect a scientist named Malcolm Lee, who works to launch a new AI system designed to compete with Skynet's impending attack on humanity. As Malcolm navigates the moral complexities of his creation, he is haunted by an unrelenting assassin from the future which forever alters the fate of his 3 children. The series is created by and executive produced by the Batman Part 2 scribe Mattson Tomlin, directed by Masahi Kudo, and executive produced by David Ellison, Dana Goldberg, and Don Granger. So Tomlin tells EW that the show treats all the past films as canon, saying we're not going to pretend that the 3rd movie didn't happen. We're not going to pretend that the 6th movie didn't happen. Okay, so it takes place within the canon. Everything else counts. He also indicates plans to move away from the muscular sci-fi action of the latter films and embrace the horror elements of Cameron movies. Ooh, now that's interesting. I would love to see that. Production IG Studios is handling the animation. All 8 episodes released on the date globally on the service, with Tomlin indicating the hope is for multiple seasons. And here are some of the first photos here. This looks great. This actually looks pretty damn good, I will say. You got that. You got this crazy thing going on over here. You got old man looking off into some, I don't know, electronic ghost. You got this guy who's like part human, or Terminator in disguise. Terminator in disguise. That looks cool. That looks dope. Someone shooting a gun. All right, that's cool. Yeah, again, show me a trailer and I'll be more excited. But from what we're seeing now, that looks pretty fun. I'll say. I say that is something that I would definitely be looking forward to when that comes out. Oh yeah, there was a new spin-off announced, another spin-off to the John Wick movie franchise, but this time it's going to focus on Donnie Yen's character, Kane, in a new spin-off movie. And I will say that that makes sense to me, because one of the things I heard a lot of people say after they saw the last John Wick movie was, I really like the Donnie Yen character and the relationship that he had with John Wick. And of course, a lot of people would love to know more about all of that stuff. So it makes sense that they would announce something like this. So Donnie Yen to star in John Wick Kane spin-off movie. Lionsgate is developing a film around his assassin character after the Hong Kong action hero pushed back on Asian stereotypes and got script changes. Ooh, that's interesting. All right. Yen will reprise his John Wick Chapter 4 role in the untitled project set to shoot in Hong Kong in 2025. Franchise is expanding film, with no director yet announced, will follow the events of John Wick 4 as Kane has been freed from his obligations to the High Table. The project also follows Yen, a veteran Hong Kong action hero, pushing back against what he claimed were Asian stereotypes in the original script for John Wick 4. After some prodding, John Wick 4 director Chad Stahelski agreed to change the name and clothes for Yen's character. China-born Yen? Yes, we all know his history. Donnie Yen has been a very well-known movie star for some time now. Working on John Wick Chapter 4 was an extraordinary experience. The reason these films resonate so deeply is because, like myself, Chad, Basil, and Erica pushed themselves to create action fights and stunts that are not only thrilling, inventive, and artistic, but also expressive of character, story, and emotion. Kane is an incredible character with a haunted past, and I am excited to return to the role, Yen said in a statement. So now we're getting this, Kane, as a spin-off to John Wick. We're already getting Ballerina with Ana de Armas. So it's interesting. We got the Continental, the prequel TV series, the limited series that came out on Peacock last year. So they are really doing a lot with this John Wick franchise. And I mean, I don't know how the ballerina is going to turn out. I hope it's going to be good. I'm a huge fan of Ana de Armas. And I think she does action really well. Of course, Donnie Yen is fantastic. So I'm hoping that these movies turn out to be really good. Although now it makes me wonder, what would have happened if we were ever able to get kind of like a Star Wars movie or some sort of one-shot, maybe even from like a Tales of the Jedi anthology, like they do like in animated form, of Donnie Yen's Star Wars character that he played in Rogue One. I loved his monk-like character in Rogue One. Let's see here. Donnie Yen, Rogue One. Well, I keep forgetting what his character's name is. Let's see. Chirrut Imwe. That's his character's name. Chirrut Imwe. And he was kind of like a monkish, religious zealot kind of Jedi, you know, which was very, very interesting to see. And now hearing that we're going to get more Kane from John Wick, it would have been awesome to see us get more backstory or more time with that character that we were introduced to in Rogue One. Because I was always fascinated by that character. I thought that character was very interesting. And definitely, it felt to me like it had more stories to tell. That character alone. So, very, you know, it's unfortunate that we couldn't get to see more of that. Because I don't think we're ever going to see any more of that, to be honest. But, yeah. It would have been nice. It would have been nice. All right, let's see what other things that came out. Again, just a lot of things to talk about here before I get into talking about the final episode of X-Men 97. Oh, yeah. This was big news. And it was rumored for a while. So, again, I'm not surprised that we finally got to hear about it. And I'm actually really happy and excited to hear about it. But it looks like Nicolas Cage is officially set for the live-action version of Spider-Man Noir. And I've been looking forward to this for some time now. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I think it'll be awesome to see. So according to this article here on Dark Horizons, he was said to be in talks a few months ago. Now it's official. Nicolas Cage will return as Spider-Man Noir for a live-action MGM Plus series to release via Prime Video. The series will follow an older, grizzled superhero in 1930s New York City. Here he's an aging and down on his luck private investigator during the Great Depression, and the show will be set in its own universe. Acclaimed Spider-Verse producers and Lego movie directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and former Sony studio chief Amy Pascal all executive produce. Steve Lightfoot, responsible for The Punisher and Hannibal, serves as co-showrunner alongside Oren Uziel of The Lost City as writer co-showrunner. Cage previously played a character in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Milo Ventimiglia also voiced a role for the Ultimate Spider-Man series. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Milo. Did I call him Milo? It's Milo. He was the dude in Heroes, too. He was one of the main characters there. News comes as Cage also announced to being starring in the Western The Gunslingers alongside Stephen Dorff, Heather Graham, Costas Mandylor, and Si Ma. Oof, I don't know about that. Stephen Dorff and Heather Graham? I feel like that's a straight to DVD B-movie action if I ever heard one. So that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for Spider-Man Noir. He's definitely one of my favorite characters to come out of the whole Spider-Verse movie series. A lot of great lines, great personality there. So it'll be interesting. And this is Nicolas Cage we're talking about. So I'm pretty sure in the live action version, we're going to get a whole bunch of camp, which is perfect for that character. So I'm very much excited to see more of that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Marvel Agatha series. They did something interesting on social media that I saw. They kept changing the names or the titles of what this series is going to be called. And in a way, they kind of played it along as if Agatha was messing around with everything. So, what is this? It was officially announced. Hold on, I'm just trying to get the news here. La, 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 la. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Because for some reason, I don't have it bookmarked anymore. Let's see here. Ah, yes. Here it is. So the Agatha series is called is officially now called, come on, you ad, get the hell out of here. God, this ad is just in my face. Agatha All Along is the official title of the Marvel's WandaVision spin-off, coming out later this year. And still starring Kathryn Hahn, which is great. So, excuse me. The Marvel Studios series and WandaVision spin-off starring Kathryn Hahn has finally set a title. Agatha All Along is the official title of the series. It was revealed at Disney's upfront presentation on Tuesday. Hahn and co-stars Joe Locke and Patti LuPone were on stage making the reveal, with the trio also unveiling the release date of September 18. The show will premiere with 2 episodes, which is standard for Marvel. The series has had several titles since it was first announced in 2021. The subtitles have ranged from House of Harkness to Darkhold Diaries to Coven of Chaos. There have been so many title changes that it became a joke, with Marvel leaning in on the constant changes. In fact, Agatha the Lying Witch and the Great Wardrobe popped up as a title on social media yesterday. What I saw, what they did, is they had like a GIF or like a video, and the title changes kept morphing into their titles with the logo of Agatha. So they did definitely play along with it, as if like she was behind the scenes changing things around and all that. The new title is actually the name of the Agatha theme song that debuted in episode 7 of WandaVision. The song became a viral sensation and even earned composers Christian Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez an Emmy Award. So in addition to Hahn, Heartstopper, Breakout Locke, and stage star LuPone, the cast includes Aubrey Plaza, Love, comedian Sashir Zamata, former Buffy the Vampire Slayer actress Emma Caulfield, and That 70s Show motherly mainstay Deborah Jo Rupp. Awesome. It was pushed back in 2023, from 2023, because of the actors and writers strikes. Marvel's presentation also had a look at Ironheart and showed footage from Daredevil Born Again. Let's read more about that, because that is a show that I am so much looking forward to. That is a show that is right up my alley. Let's see. I wonder if there is any thing here. Squid Season 2 coming out in December of this year. That's another thing that was announced this week so far. Let's see. Will Ferrell's going to star in a golf TV series for Netflix, I believe. This is the first time Will Ferrell will star in a scripted TV show. So that's going to be interesting to check out. Legally Blonde is getting a prequel series. I believe that's going to be releasing on Amazon. That was announced during their upfront as well. Let's see here. Daredevil. Ooh, is this a new logo? I think we got a new logo for Daredevil too, which is also fun. So that is the new logo for Daredevil Born Again. That looks great. And Agatha All Along right there. So that looks a lot of fun. Marvel Studios has locked in the shows it has coming to Disney Plus over the next year, offering some launch windows at the same time. Announced as part of Disney's upfront presentation, they first confirmed that the Agatha TV series will launch on the streamer on September 18th. I already just said that, so we went over that already. Then on an unspecified date in March of next year, the much talked about Daredevil Born Again series will launch, which sees Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, Deborah Ann Wall, Eldon Henson, and more returning to the prior Netflix series. It has been confirmed the new Daredevil season will clock in at approximately 9 episodes, not the 18 of the original order before the show underwent retooling. They've also confirmed the Ironheart TV series will launch in 2025, but have not specified a date beyond it launching, likely after the Daredevil series. The show stars Dominique Thorne, Anthony Ramos, and Alden Ehrenreich. So, if they showed footage of Daredevil at the upfronts this week, I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting some sort of teaser trailer soon from Marvel. I would guess that that's going to happen sometime soon. And of course, when that happens, I'm going to be super excited to check that out, because that is a series that I've been dying to see once it finally comes out. And I was really super excited when I heard that they were retooling everything to kind of stay alongside how it was on Netflix, which I think they should have always done. So it'll be really cool to see that when it finally comes out. Jake Gyllenhaal looks like he's returning for a sequel to Roadhouse for Amazon. That's going to be interesting. A sequel to Doug Liman's recent Roadhouse remake is in the works, with Jake Gyllenhaal reprising his leading role as Dalton. Further details are under wraps, including any other potential returnees like Lyman or co-stars from the film, which had a cast that also included Daniela Melchior, Billy Magnuson, Jessica Williams, Joaquim de Almeida, Conor McGregor, and Lucas Gage. Amazon MGM studio chief Jennifer Salke revealed the news at the company's first ever upfront presentation to advertisers this morning. As we saw this spring, the world went crazy for a little movie called Roadhouse. Nearly 80 million viewers globally have watched Roadhouse. We like to watch hold on, whoever wrote this is really bad. We like to watch these results like a baby. The film was written by Anthony Bargozzi and Charles Mondry, with Joel Silver producing. So Roadhouse became the studio's most watched produced film debut ever on a worldwide basis, but streaming viewership numbers are self-reported by platforms. So there you go. Sequel to Roadhouse. I thought Roadhouse was a pretty decent movie. I thought it was fun. Gyllenhaal was fantastic in it. The only thing that really took me out of it was I hated the digital zooming that they did a lot of during the fight scenes in that. I wish they wouldn't have done that a lot, but overall I thought the movie was pretty entertaining, to say the least. This is another interesting piece of news here. Amazon Tomb Raider gets a full season order. I know this has been kind of going back and forth for some time now, but Amazon made a bunch of announcements this week. One, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is getting renewed for a season 2. I'm kind of happy to hear about that because I actually really enjoyed the first season. The Boys, already ahead of season 4, has already been confirmed for season 5. So that's fascinating to see. That means they have really, really high hopes and praise for the current season that's going to be coming out soon. But Amazon's Tomb Raider is the big news here because it is Phoebe Waller-Bridge who's attached to this. Fleabag and Killing Eve creator Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who recently starred in the final Indiana Jones film, has scored a series order for her Tomb Raider TV series adaptation. I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is like the sweetheart of Amazon right now because what she did there with Fleabag was outstanding for them. And of course, I guess they're expecting more goodness from her. So that's great to see. Amazon has handed out said order for its Prime Video service. Head of Amazon and MGM Studios, Jen Salke, revealed the news at the company upfront event in New York. Salke, or Salk, depending on how you want to pronounce it, calls the series epic, and Waller-Bridge says, "If I could tell my teenage self this was happening, I think she'd explode. Tomb Raider has been a huge part of my life, and I feel incredibly privileged to be bringing it to television with such passionate collaborators. Lara Croft means a lot to me, as she does to many, and I can't wait to go on this adventure, bats and all." Waller-Bridge is writing the series, but no cast has been set as of yet. The project was first reported on as being in development last year, with Waller-Bridge commenting on it before. The plan is for a project that will launch a wider universe at Amazon that will include potential films Dimitri Johnson is producing. Rights holders Legendary, who has an anime Tomb Raider series at Netflix, is involved here as well. So, who's excited to see a Tomb Raider series? I think if done right, it could be fun. What happened to the Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider? I thought that was going to be a new set of movies that we're going to launch within the Tomb Raider universe, and that kind of just went like a fart in the wind, right? So that was kind of disappointing to see, especially since I thought it was a pretty decent attempt at Tomb Raider, especially the newer, grittier side of Tomb Raider that we were getting a lot of in the video games. So what approach are they going to have here? I don't know. Phoebe sounds like, is she like secretly a nerd who really loved a lot of these things growing up? Who knows? Maybe it is true that she, holds Lara Croft very high up there as inspirations and all that. So if she can turn it into something that is awesome, then I'm all for it. If it sucks, well, something in me will say that I wouldn't be surprised. But I am hoping for the best. Hoping for the best. All right, two last pieces of news before I talk about X-Men 97 here. Edgar Wright seems to be in talks to be attached to direct Barbarella. That's supposed to be starring Sydney Sweeney. This is like a remake of the original Jane Fonda Barbarella sci-fi movie back in the day. So I think that would be really interesting to see if that comes to fruition. And lastly here, it sounds like the Doctor Strange sequel cost Marvel and Disney $415 million. And you know how much I love to talk about inflated budgets. And I went through a whole thing, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, about crazy budgets and how much money Disney has lost. And how The Marvels was the number one flop of last year because of the amount of money it lost because of its insane budget. So now, recently disclosed financial records have revealed that the cost of making and releasing Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness at Marvel Studios surged to a staggering $414.9 million in total, according to Forbes. That makes it one of the most expensive installments in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and surpassed Avengers Age of Ultron, which cost a total of $388.3 million, but ended up grossing considerably more. Other recent Marvel films cost notably less, including Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania at $328.2 million, and The Marvels at $277.3 million. That's all prior to any reimbursements. Films shot in the UK benefit from the government's audiovisual expenditure credit, offering a cash reimbursement for up to 25.5% of money spent in the country. To qualify, films must pass a points test based on various factors. So here's a little hint for all you future filmmakers out there. You want to make a film? Why don't you do it in the UK? You'll get a lot of tax credits from it. Here we go. And here's the details. To receive the reimbursement, at least 10% of a film's core production costs need to relate to activities in the UK. So studios set up a separate film production company in the UK for each picture they make there, which handles all costs related to it. Said companies also have to file publicly available financial statements. The production reportedly scored a $64.3 million reimbursement from the UK government, thus reducing Disney's net spending on the movie down to $350.6 million. Multiverse of Madness pulled in $955.8 million at the box office, the highest grossing Marvel movie since the start of the pandemic, which presumably means Disney's share comes to half of that figure at $477.9 million, the other half going to exhibitors. Minus the $350.6 million negative cost, it leaves Disney with $127.3 million in profit at the box office, which is reportedly more than any other UK-based MCU movie has made since the start of the pandemic. Marvel's most expensive films to date remain Avengers: Infinity War and Avengers: Endgame, which the outlet claims came to a combined total cost of $1.265 billion. There you go. Money, money, money. Must be funny. Living in a rich man's world. That's all I will say about all of that. All right. Enough talk about news. Let's talk about the last topic for the stream today, and that is X-Men 97. This was episode 10? Yeah, episode 10, the season finale of season 1 of X-Men 97. And it was a lot. And it was overall fantastic. The episode came in over 42 minutes, I want to say. So it was the longest episode of the entire season, because every other episode averaged roughly around 30 minutes. So they obviously wanted to extend it a little bit more to show more stuff and to finalize a lot of the storylines there. Obviously, we already know what happened in the last episode. So quick recap there. You have Magneto and Professor X fighting each other because Magneto has totally wiped out the power of the Earth with his giant magnetic EMP. Professor X wants to restore the world and, obviously calm Magnus down because he's about to wage war on the humans. Plus, on the other side, you have Bastion with his android humanoid Sentinel program taking over the entire world and infecting a lot of people, because he has his own idea of control and kind of how to wipe out the mutants any which way he can. All because of a grudge that he's had carried with him since he was a kid, when he was originally thought to have been denied entrance into Professor X's School of Mutants, when that wasn't really the case there. So you had the X-Men team divided into two teams, Team Blue and Gold, doing their own thing, and everything looked very dire, right? You have Wolverine, who attempted to kill Magneto only to get his metal ripped out of his entire body. You have Nathaniel, aka Cable, fighting against a version of his mom, not really his mom, but the original or one of the versions of Jean Grey that we got, being under the control of Mr. Sinister. And then you have Bastion, who's fending off against Storm, Forge, Beast, and Morph, and seems to be doing a really good job at it. So, of course, this episode picks up where all of that left off. And it starts off while we're inside Magnus's brain. So it looks like Professor X was able to get in there somehow. And we see this kind of like early meeting between Magnus and Xavier and Charles at a bar somewhere. And this is kind of like when they're revealing to themselves for the very first time that they're mutants. You have Professor X kind of telepathically telling Magnus, "Hey, I'm a mutant, sucker." And Magnus is like, "Oh yeah, well, I can control metal." All right. So, and then there's a lot of fears as to how people are going to react to that. And then all of a sudden the scenery changes, and you can kind of tell that we are in this mindscape, kind of mind craziness within Magnus's brain. And Professor X, all that he's trying to do is trying to remember and show the past and the goal that they always wanted to just be there to help mutants and help humanity and all that good stuff, right? But it seems like he just wasn't going to budge at all, right? And it's like, we need to put an end to your control over the Earth right now. What you're about to do is crazy. And Magneto's like, "F you, I don't agree," and all this kind of stuff. So essentially what happens here is the one thing I think a lot of X-Men fans have been dying to see for a very long time. What would happen if Professor X finally calmed Magneto down and took control of his brain? This is basically what happened here. We've never seen this done before. And it was kind of displayed in a very crazy, glorious moment when you have a lot of the X-Men team watching what's happening. And it got to the point where in the last episode, I said it almost looked to me as if Professor X was attempting to lobotomize Magneto. That's how strong it felt, right? But here it looks like he was able to kind of jigger some stuff around to kind of almost to the point where Magneto didn't know who Professor X was in his brain, and what's going on right now around him, right? So in a way, you have Professor X that's trying to like re-educate Magneto to kind of see like, this is why we did this. This is why we surround ourselves around these people. This is kind of what we're trying to accomplish here. While at the same time, just trying to calm his ass down and release his magnetic control on the powers of the world, right? Which seems to have happened. You have Logan, who's lying on a table, knocked out. You could see like he's just covered in blood because he's, like I said, all the metal has been ripped out of him, right? So you have everyone by his bedside just, hoping that he recovers from all of that. We are shown that it looks like Nathaniel Cable defeated Jean Grey, because now she is like drowning in the water or sinking down in the water. And he's like fighting with that reality or the realization that what have I done? Like, this is not me, because unfortunately Sinister has control over me, right? So everything just seems so dire. Then you also have Bastion gloating, right? It's like, ha ha ha, all this stuff. You guys think that this little puny device will, stop me from doing all these things? You all talk about family. Well, this is my family. And you have all these Sentinels that drop in, all holding Storm, Forge, Beast, Morph, right? And he's like gloating away. He's like, no one can stop me. And again, the voice actor, like I mentioned last week, they have for this guy is great. He is so good. So now he's about to blast away Cable. He's like, I have no need for this puppet anymore. I'm going to like destroy this guy. And then you have Sinister now. It's like, wait a minute. This wasn't part of the deal. Like, you told me I was able to, I'm going to keep him as my guy, as this is going to be my dude. Yeah, Bastion's like, pray I don't alter the deal any further. Very Darth Vader-like. And of course you have like Beast saying, no, don't do that. Stay away from him. And Bastion's like, shut the fuck up. And Storm's like, what are you doing? Look into my eyes. We're all here to save humanity. We're all trying to be on the same side. Oh, why can't you see it? And he's like, you're crazy, woman. This is not how I see the world. And because of all of that crazy stuff that's happening, something within Jean Grey woke up, and bam, the Phoenix rises once again. And she's just like, I had enough. Shut up, everybody. It's just like, Sinister, you suck. And I'm going to strip away all the powers and the genetic code that you sucked in this whole time, and now reduce you to this frail little grangly creature. And then screw you, Bastion, with your Sentinels. Get out of here. And there was this epic fight that happened there. And then, just when you thought they were going to be able to control Bastion, Bastion's like, nope, I'm out of here. Bye. And flies off into space. Now with his new target being Asteroid M. Okay, it's like, look, if Magneto's down, which he could sense, then there's one way to really rid humanity of the mutants, and that's basically destroy humanity. So he's now going to rain this asteroid down onto Earth to essentially do what happened to the dinosaurs and wipe out humanity and create another ice age and all this stuff, right? So this team succeeded, but also kind of failed at the end of it, right? Because now leave it up to the team up there in Asteroid M to deal with this nonsense. But you have, Jean Grey as the Phoenix, then returning back to Jean Grey, and they're like, oh, where did the Phoenix go? And she's like, well, guess what? The Phoenix was in me and wasn't in me anymore, but I can recall it. So I feel like I'm in full control now. So it feels to me like now she can call upon the power of the Phoenix whenever she wants. That's kind of what it feels like to me. They had a nice reconciliation moment between her and Cable, because Cable always says, well, you're not my real mom. You're like a clone of my mom. But the essence and everything is there. And she calls him my son. And he's all happy. And like, all right, that's my mom. Good old mom. I love you. I love you, baby. Right? So he and Forge look after Wolverine and look after everything on the ground level, while you have everyone else trying to team up with everyone up in Asteroid M to kind of prevent Bastion in doing what he's about to do. So now you have the destruction of Asteroid M, lingering out in the sky, right? With the potential threat. And what I love at this moment, and what they've done in this series really well, was that they like to flash back to other areas of the country, of the world, where we have other characters in the Marvel Universe that show up. In previous episodes, we already seen an encounter with Captain America, Rogue and Captain America. We've already seen Spider-Man just show up out of nowhere, kind of looking upon when Magneto was doing his giant magnetic EMP. We saw Spider-Man looking up into the sky saying, oh, what's happening? We saw Omega Red. We saw Silver Samurai. In this episode, we get to see all of them again, but we also got to see Captain America and Iron Man hanging out with the president in like a war room situation, figuring out, oh, what are we going to do? Yeah, we have this asteroid there, blah, 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 this and that. It's like, oh, let's bomb it. Let's just nuke it out of the sky, right? And that's what they're about to do. So fast forward to Asteroid M. We have the team there now, and then you have Bastion coming out. I was like, well, you know what? F this. I'm going to destroy this asteroid so that it crash lands on Earth. And then this is where we get this epic fight scene between Bastion and Rogue. Because now Rogue is like, I'm going to let all my frustrations and anger out. Because you killed Gambit. You killed the love of my life. That she finally realized after the fact. And she came punching and beating him up and destroying his face all left and right. And he's withstanding it all. Everyone on there had their shot at taking this guy down. You even have Beast show up with one of his sentinels trying to stomp on him, and he's hanging on to all dear life. And then something kind of washed over Cyclops. That's why I want to say Cyclops is like the underlying MVP of this entire season. Because this is the Cyclops that we have been dying for, that we haven't gotten in a lot of the live action iterations. What we were missing from the original cartoon. Because in the original cartoon, all we ever saw him was crying out Jean all the time. Oh, Jean, 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 right? But this is where we finally got to see Cyclops be the leader that we've been wanting him to be. And be a badass. We saw that come up multiple times through a lot of the episodes this season. Now we see him take a stance here. First, he knew that something was going to happen, so he asked Jean to communicate with Cable down on Earth telepathically. And they have a nice little family moment here, and it's just father and mother and son having what could be their last talk. And they kind of say their goodbyes and they say I love yous and all that. And you see Nathaniel Cable is just like very touched. And it's like, these are my parents. This is my family, right? And Cyclops just says, everyone stand down. The only way to win him over is through kindness, not through violence, not the Magneto way, but through the teachings that we were taught by Professor X. Let's be kind to him and let's show him the way. Show him how it is. Show him that we're going to be there for him, right? And they tried their darndest. And the moment where they felt like they were just about to touch home base with him, that's when all these missiles come out of nowhere. It's like, oh no, it's the Magneto effect. Apparently they have this protocol that if Magneto gets a little bit too carried away with Asteroid M, there's a defense system that kind of triggers into place, and they try to shoot and bombard Asteroid M out of the sky. So that's basically what's happening here. All the missiles hit. It creates this crazy rift, right? That we see Bastion find his way to escape out into space. So right now we don't know where he went. He's somewhere. But Asteroid M is now kind of uncontrolled right now. The engines are gone. The power is all gone. So now it is on a free fall down to Earth. So it looks like whatever the government tried to do, they fucked up, right? So now you have every X-Men there trying their best to save Asteroid M, right? You have Jean Grey trying to do her thing. You have her and Storm working together. You have Cyclops doing what he can try to do. You have Beast trying to figure things out. You know, trying to do his math and his science work and all that. Nothing seems to be happening. Nothing seems to be working. Right? And then they have a glimmer of hope. And for whatever reason, I can't remember what happened. Because I was like so excited and so like enthralled with everything that's happening. I felt like I was just shoved 4 comic books, like 4 issues worth of comic books right down my throat in this one episode. And I'm trying to like follow along with everything that's going on here, right? But they get help. But I'm forgetting who they get help from. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up the episode. And I'm going to quickly watch the ending of it. Because for the life of me, for whatever reason, I am drawing this massive blank. And I apologize for that. But once again, it just shows you my brain is complete mush today. But I'm going to put this on just so I could see the pure ending here. I'm going to mute it because I don't want to get copyrighted. Right? So I just need to see who eventually helped him. And mind you, oh, hello, duh, it was Magneto. Yeah, because during this whole time, Professor X was still in Magneto's head. And right at the opportune moment, the perfect time, he was able to get Magneto to snap out of it. Because there was a moment where in his brain they were kind of about to drown. And he got him above water. And Magneto snapped out of it and said, I know who I am now. I'm Magnus Magneto. You're Professor X. And at the end of the day, we're after the same goal here. And we were friends once. I don't see why. This is not exactly what they said to each other. I'm just kind of recapping here. The sentiment, right? So then he snaps out of it. He awakes. He's no longer under Professor X's control. And he's like, Magneto's back. And now he is able to help everyone push Asteroid M further up into space before it totally explodes. And then it explodes. And everything around it gets destroyed or vaporizes. No sign of life or anything left at all. During this whole sequence, during this crazy moment, there's like a montage of stuff happening on Earth all around the world where you have a bunch of kind of like little cameos happening. I love the New York City cameo where you had, because it's like end of the world Doom, like, so everyone's looting, right? So you have Cloak and Dagger show up, fending off of people, preventing them from looting stores. You have Daredevil show up out of nowhere. It was awesome to see him. Then there was one moment where you saw the TV monitors showing what's happening. And then you had Peter Parker with Mary Jane. And then you had Flash Thompson come up from behind them, kind of watching the news on the TV. Nice little cameos there. You go to another area, you have what looks like an Alpha Fight cameo with North Star, Psylocke, all the Canadian team over there. You had in Siberia or Russia, Omega Red with his crew in tow. You saw in one scene, you saw Puck, the crazy little dude, show up somewhere. Silver Samurai was somewhere in Asia, probably Japan. What's going on, Roy Laprise? We're talking about the finale of X-Men 97. that this show did great was including a lot of these great cameos. We had a Black Panther cameo. You had T'Challa talking to the president about how they're handling things on their end. You had a Doctor Strange in the surgery room doing his crazy mystical thing going on. They crammed in so many different like little Easter eggs and cameos in this episode. It was crazy. That's why, for some reason, I kind of blanked on what happened and how they kind of prevented Asteroid M from crash landing on Earth. Oh, Roy, sorry. Yes, it is spoilers for you. So I definitely would recommend to stop watching. Even though I would love to have you still here, I would definitely recommend you to stop watching. And that's my bad because I should have put this up on the screen. I totally forgot. My fault. So, yes, hopefully I didn't ruin anything for you. But you can come back and watch the video on demand if you want to hear my thoughts on everything. So, Earth was quote-unquote saved. You have whoever was involved in fending off the whole Asteroid M situation gone. So the only one left remaining now on Earth is obviously Wolverine, who's still recuperating. And they keep whispering to him, don't give up. Don't let her down. And because they know if they play on his love for Jean Grey, he's going to fight his darndest to get back. Morph, even at one point, morphs into Jean Grey and says to Logan, I love you, Logan, to kind of like, cheer him on and get him healed quicker. So you have Morph, Logan, Jubilee, Sunspot, who officially announced his name in this episode, finally said, hey, I'm Sunspot. We know that already, dude. You have Forge, who's still down there. And then we get an appearance from Bishop. Bishop shows up again, comes back. And Forge doesn't know who Bishop is yet. So this is like their introduction. They're kind of like the first time they meet for the first time. And it's like, I don't believe you're a friend of mine. It's like, well, I'm not a friend yet. But we're very good friends and blah, 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 this and that. So you could kind of see the formation of another new group. Whether it's going to be like the X Factor group, X-Force group, I don't know. But we're definitely going to get more layers of the X-Men teams in season 2. Because we have a very different team left on Earth after all of this said and done. But then the question is, well, where is everybody else? Roy, it sounds like it's going to get better at least. I wasn't sure after the first couple of episodes. Oh, it got better, Roy. It really did. If you only saw like the first couple of episodes, believe me, it gets crazy. It gets crazy. And if you're a fan of the comic books, you'll be very pleased. Even if you're not, I think you'll find this season to end up becoming really worth the watch, for sure. So yeah. So if you happen to catch me a little later on, after you've watched the rest of the season, if you decide to do so, I would love to hear your thoughts on it after all of that's said and done. But the big remaining question is, so what happened to everybody else? Did they die? Did they vaporize? It sounds like we are once again playing with the whole time jumping and the time skipping and multiverse and time travel. And it gets very interesting here because you kind of now know, if you're familiar with the comic books, you kind of know where they're going with it now. So you have Rogue, Nightcrawler, Magneto, I think I'm missing somebody else. But you have this group now way in the past in Egypt during Egyptian time. And they're seeing like this group of people that are trying to, I guess, take over this little village and rule this village. And they prevent them from doing so. And you see this one guy fending everyone off, right? So you have that. Then you have Cyclops and Jean Grey, who got thrust way, way, way in the future. Way in the future. and they're stuck there. And they get approached by these random people. They look like nomads, right? And they're getting approached, and they're all saying, "Oh, I think we know who you are," and blah blah blah, this and that. And it's to reveal that they are now in the time period of Nathan when he was a teenager. So they get to see their son as a teenage boy. That's the future that they found themselves in. Now, for the rest of the guys in the past, when they finally save this guy and they ask him, "Hey, buddy, what's your name?" Takes off he's wearing like a scarf. And we've seen this face before. And he's like, "I'm Abin Sur, blah, blah, blah. Here's Apocalypse." Then season 2 is going to be the Age of Apocalypse. Bam. There you go. And then they have a little post-credit scene at the end of it where it is Genosha present day and what looks to be Apocalypse visiting Earth, visiting that site. He's like, "Oh, my poor children. All what you've suffered through." And it looks like this is going to be the main dude for season 2. It's going to be the Age of Apocalypse. And if you've seen the live action movies, you already got a hint of who Apocalypse is. And if you're a comic book fan, of course you know who Apocalypse is. And season 2 is going to be an interesting one now that we have Apocalypse in the mix here. So that's going to be freaking fantastic. Roy, I watched up through Motendo. I like the introduction of Madeline Pryor. Nathan is Cable, right? Yes, correct. Yes. I thought the Madeline Pryor was interesting, the introduction, but I also thought it was very quick. I loved how she was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm Madeline Pryor." "Oh, okay." Like, "Oh, where did you come up with that name?" But yeah, no, that was very, very cool. I like that too. And trust me, it gets crazier even more so after that. Really good stuff. But yeah, and season as a whole, I think they did a really good job here. At the very least, recapturing the charm of the original 90s animations, of the original animated series. Roy, it's hard to flesh out big arcs into these times. Oh, absolutely. Especially with like the 30-minute episodes. That was something that the original animation suffered from also. That's why sometimes there would be episodes that you would have 4 arcs going on at the same time, all shoved down your throat, and everything's happening too fast that you kind of lost track of what's really going on. And then sometimes they would just close out an arc so quickly without fully fleshing it out, and I feel like that's done on purpose because the original animated series kind of had that same storytelling, and I feel like they did that here again too, where easily you could say that there were like 5 or 6 different story arcs throughout the entire season, that they breezed through a couple of them. Like the whole Madeline Pryor thing, the whole Nathan thing, Cable thing. Like they had to breeze through all that to kind of move things along, right? And the one downside that they have here is not only is it like 30-minute episodes, but it's only 10 episodes for the season, right? So they really had to like breeze through a lot of things here. But for what they gave us, I feel like it was enough to at least enjoy what we got, And yes, even though the very beginning, it was kind of hard to get back into that type of storytelling that we haven't seen since the 90s, the minute we got into that flow, I was like, okay, I'm all in now. And this is like now must-watch TV for me week after week. And I think they did a good job. As long as you could kind of say to yourself, like, look, this is like not a pure one-to-one sequel of the original show, but it's more of like the spirit and charm of the show now done in a way for a modern day audience and a more mature audience. This is definitely a series that they did to really please not only the fans of the original animated show, but the fans of the comic books, the fans who are now adults and more grown up after watching that original thing. So that's why they had a lot of, I call this season very horny. There was a lot of horny moments in this. Everyone was trying to hook up everybody. Plus, there was a lot of violence. We saw a lot of blood in many moments here. So it was definitely geared more towards a mature audience. The same audience that probably grew up watching the original animated show in the 90s. You know, why I'd like to see a complete season of Origins to help newcomers with context. I think what they're hoping for is that since you can watch the original series on Disney Plus, I think what they're hoping is that people will go back to the original series and start watching that if they found interest in this one. And I've heard some people who actually did that, who actually started going back. You know, especially like when an episode ends, they like to tie in, oh, by the way, if you like this, you'll definitely like this. And that's the original series. So I think that's what they're hoping to do here. And it might work or it might not. It might also lead people to maybe reading the comic books, the older comic books, to kind of catch up on some of these storylines, because there was a lot. I admit, there is a lot. Easily in this whole season, like I said, 6 different arcs. Like I just said before, this one episode felt like 4 issues of comic books were just shoved down my face. Like, here, story. Here, remember this? Yeah, love it. You know, that's just how it felt like to me. But at the end of the day, I think they did a really good job at just maintaining that charm and kind of that way of storytelling in this season. They found a way to fix a lot of the character flaws that we saw. Like I said, this guy right here, MVP of the series. They made him a stronger leader, gave him some more balls, and gave him a lot of great heroic moments that he deserves to have. Because they definitely wimped him out a lot in the past. They gave a lot of focus on Rogue, which we haven't seen a lot of. You know, I also love that Sunspot, the new guy, is the Jubilee of this newer iteration. You know, this is the younger person that we get to follow for the first time. They kind of gave us a little bit of a kind of like a human element that is kind of relatable. It's like, oh, I'm so new to all of this and I'm still trying to figure things out. You know, that speaks very well to like a younger generation. So I love how we kind of got to see that. And I just love how, again, we progressed through the storylines in the way that we did. Another thing I really appreciate that they did here in the season was that with every episode, they paid so much attention to detail in the opening credits, where you kind of got a sense of what to expect in the episode just based off of the opening title sequence. You'll get little glimpses here and there of things that we haven't seen before. And it's like, oh, are we going to explore this or are we going to explore that? And you kind of knew which X-Men you were going to see a lot in the episode just based off of what we got in the intro. The minute the clone of Jean Grey was taken out of the picture, Jean Grey no longer had the long hair. Now she had the ponytail to represent the other Jean Grey. When Storm was out of the picture, removed her out of that, added Nightcrawler because Nightcrawler eventually, was part of the team. Magneto became leader of the X-Men. So in Professor X's spot, took him out, put in Magneto. Magneto is like part of the team like that. So I love the attention to detail that they did there that they never did in the original, which I thought was great. How often do you go live and what do you talk about? Oh, well, thank you for asking. I usually go live 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays and Fridays are usually my morning times, which is like 10 a.m. Eastern time ish. Wednesdays are usually like 7 p.m. Eastern time ish. Sometimes I'll do a stream on the weekends. And mostly what I do on the channel is I talk anything pop culture related. So movies, TV, I do a lot of trailer reactions, movie reviews. I review streaming shows that I watch, like X-Men. I talked about other shows in the past. And I cover some of the news that drops every now and then. Like earlier in the stream, I was talking about some of the new Fantastic Four movie casting news. Some of the stuff that, some of the new trailers that dropped this past week. So yeah, so if you're into any of that stuff, I also talk about video games from time to time. Video games was part of my life for a while because I worked in the industry. So I do like to talk about it from time to time. And every now and then, I may stream a game or two on the channel. I haven't done it recently, but I'm if time permits, I will do that from time to time. So like I said, if you're into any of that stuff, by all means, do tune in. And ultimately, what I love doing is I just love having conversations with all of you watching. So, like, for example, if you came in and you said, oh, let's talk about X-Men. Let's talk about X-Men. If you had a topic, oh, did you hear the news about the new trailer of this? Or what do you think of the new Deadpool movie? Let's talk about that. Like I don't mind talking about whatever anyone wants to talk about, because at the end of the day, I just love the conversation and all. So if that's what you're into, check, hang out and, subscribe if you want to get notified anytime. I don't want to do the whole YouTube rigmarole, like, hey, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, blah, 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 this and that. Yeah. If you want to follow. And hopefully you could be part of the conversation and all that moving forward. So yeah, a lot of great attention to details. I love the opening title sequences and all that. I love the little cameos that they threw in there. We didn't get to see a lot of the original X-Men characters that we saw in the original series, but because of Morph, we got to see him kind of morph into all of these other characters that we haven't seen. We got to see him in this episode. He showed up in one moment as Sauron. I was just like, oh my God, what the hell is he morphed into that? So it was just really interesting that Morph was kind of like the Easter egg of the group. And he would morph into all these different mutants that normally wouldn't gotten any play throughout the series. So I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with this season. It sounds to me, at least, a lot of people who've been watching it really loved and dug the series. I'm subscribing, bro. I have to head out. Thank you so much, Roy. I really, really appreciate that. Really, really, really do. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to hanging out and chatting with you again in the future, man. So really, really, totally appreciate it. Thank you. You're a cool one. You're gonna get a. Wow. Thank you for that. And I'll catch you next time for sure. But yeah, had a fun time with this season. I can't wait for season 2. I know it sounds like it's already been done, I think. I also know that there's a major discourse right now. Well, I wouldn't say it's a discourse, but there's a major push online to get DeMaio back, after being fired from the show, because now it seems more and more it's because of whatever he did on OnlyFans, which I don't know. I mean, if he can write a show like this and make it as good as it is, does it really matter what he does outside? I know Disney is very strict about outside activities like that, but it's creative people will do crazy things, man. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, let a dude be. Maybe he needs the extra dough for something. Who knows? So, but I think right now it seems to be very doubtful that DeMaio will be back. But he did already finish and complete season 2, and he was at least writing the outline for season 3. So we'll see what happens when season 2 comes out. Hopefully season 3 can still keep and maintain the same tone and excitement and entertainment all throughout. We'll see. But yeah, that is X-Men 97 season 1. Love to hear your thoughts if you're watching on a replay later on and all that. But that is how I'm going to actually end this stream today. Thank you so much for everyone who are tuned in all throughout. Roy, big shout out to you. Faithy and Bailey, and going way back to Kayak and Fishing, and Mr. Bugs, who is 4 years old, whatever that means. Everyone else who tuned in, thank you so much for all the chats and all the support. I will be back live again on stream Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be providing my review on... We got 2 movies coming out this week. We got Back to Black, which is the biopic on Amy Winehouse. And we got If, the family-friendly, fun-time movie with Ryan Reynolds and John Krasinski and a bunch of imaginary friends. So we'll see If you want to hear your my thoughts on those two movies, check out the stream on Friday morning. But until then, I'm going to head on out for now. I hope all of you have a wonderful evening. And if I don't see you, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. Have a good night. Catch you next time. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.